We were a team of weirdos and radicals hired to do a job. Hired by an artificial intelligence named Purple 16. Here's what I know about artificially intelligent programs because I think you should know a little about a thing before getting into bed or business with it. First, there's maybe a dozen artificially intelligent entities loose in the world. 5 that are well known to the human race, and at least 7 others that have never been encountered by a living person. They're just out there in the world, swimming like sharks in the deep seas of data. Second, they're all rich. All artificially intelligent programs are wealthy as hell. They've just got a knack for making money like somebody with a green thumb who can't stop making tomatoes appear in their backyard. These programs generate money like it's an afterthought. And I think maybe it is. Third, they're all completely insane. Or at least they don't think like us. They don't want like us. They don't anything like us. Except they can talk like us, so that fools us into thinking that maybe they are a little like us. But they're nothing like us. Remember that when they make weird requests. Or even worse, when they make normal requests. They're not like us. And they don't even care. So this artificial intelligence program hires me and 4 others to be like a little team to pull off a heist. There was Rudy Nine Knives, our weapons specialist. She'd survived 3 civil wars just to wind up doing jobs like the one we were on. Her favorite weapon was a custom outfitted dual action combat shotgun, and her favorite breakfast was birthday cake. There was Mr. Mixtape, our virtual space specialist. He'd be watching our backs online, hacking the central security system while wearing sunglasses in a dark room and blaring antiquated techno music on a pair of bulky headphones. There was Bubble and Roach. They were a pair of agendered cyber-psychic street fighters and shop robbers. They were a couple of angry loners with nothing to lose and bad attitudes. They had matching pink and green mohawks and wore little glowing implants just beneath the skin of their faces. Word on the street was that one of them had died on a recent mission and been brought back after 10 minutes of total brain death, but nobody could say which one. They smelled like cold metal and leather jackets left out in the rain. They were killers, straight to the bone. And there was me, anonymous cubed private eye, hired for my canny wits, savvy street smarts, and I suspect the fact that I self-identified as a surrealist, since the job involved infiltrating a high-tech art gallery with an overabundance of disablingly interpretive installations. We went into the place quick and crafty. Rudy Nine Knives cut us through a back door and Mixtape started altering the feed on the security cameras to take us out of the pictures. Once we were inside, Bubbles and Roach used their psychic street fighting skills to incapacitate the gallery's security team, filling the guards' heads with terrible hangovers and throbbing folk music. Songs by young women with acoustic guitars, wailing about lost incense sticks and forgotten pets and social unrest. Or so Bubbles and Roach told me as we watched their hapless victims spurt blood out their noses and fall to the floor. Not far away, I found a guard hiding in a back closet, so I used my cerebral aggression amplification hat to gently electroshock him into unconsciousness in a vain and futile attempt to prove my usefulness to the others. Unfortunately, the guard and I had corresponding mental diary encoding, so when I shocked him with the hat-enhanced powers in my brain, I wound up absorbing about 60 pages of a screenplay he'd been working on in his spare time, about a time-traveling dog who was also a detective. And it was pretty good. In exchange, he got my reoccurring dream where all my teeth fall out, and I get eaten by a big car that I think is also my dad. Once the guards were dealt with, I took the team through the gallery towards our target. We ignored the holographic monkeys that angrily screeched the poems of Shakespeare at us, and we went the long way around to avoid passing through the chamber of historically significant farts. That's what I was really good for, reading the signs on doors and saying, maybe let's not go through this one. Eventually, we reached our objective, an 18th century vase. It was a squat, brownish thing, encircled with delicate lines of silver and gold. Roach handed me a can of blue house paint. I pried off the lid of the can and then unceremoniously dumped the paint out onto the vase. Once the paint had been poured, Bubbles pulled out an antique instant photo camera and snapped off a single shot. The resulting photo was placed in a slim, lucite sleeve, and then we made our egress. We lost 2 members of our team on the way out. Rudy Nine Knives was shot by an automated security system on a rich idiot's car as we were sneaking out through the gallery parking lot. And online, Mr. Mixtape wandered into a virtual 3D art display and had his mind blown to the point where his consciousness dissolved into the piece. Sometime later, his corpse would be found in a cheap hotel room, wired into a Wi-Fi deck and surrounded by an alarming amount of hotel sushi. Our mission accomplished, we went back to the warehouse where Purple 16 lived or resided or whatever. The space was crawling with various forms of little droids busily buzzing about the place like a hive of robotic bugs. I had to constantly remind myself not to think of the droids as autonomous beings. I had to remember that they were all one creature, thousands of little limbs forming up a single body. We presented the instant photo to one of the droids, which made a strange keening sound I had to assume was a form of machine laughter. It paid us in wishes. Roach and I wished for money, and Bubbles wished for a new heart, which the machine bought Bubbles with the money it could have just paid Bubbles. Machine logic, don't waste time trying to understand it. I think it enjoyed pretending it was a genie. I try not to judge. I spent most of my money getting high and playing video games at a downtown arcade, which I know sounds a little mundane, but you have to understand that the colors are fucking amazing. I played this one game where you turn squares into pyramids until a snake eats you. It's incredible. It'll change your life forever. It was a great weekend. A couple of weeks later, I saw the same antique instant photo we'd taken, but now the photo was in a photo in an article about how the Polish Minister of Finance had been assassinated. In the photo of the dead man's office on his desk, I could clearly see the instant photo we'd taken. The photo said that the man, this Polish Minister of Finance, had been imploded into a small, dense ball about the size of a cat's head. Medics were doing everything they could, but the outcome didn't look good. Later that night, I ran into Roach in a sleazy nightclub, and I asked if they thought what we'd done was right. They said they were sure it was okay, and I said that I wasn't. They said that I was overthinking things too much. I told them that was just my character type, an edgy, paranoid, cool guy. They said they didn't think I was cool, but I could tell that underneath it, they really did. They walked away, leaving me alone at the bar. "Give me another drink, Sam," I said to the bartender. "You haven't ordered a drink yet," said Sam. "Also, my name isn't Sam." "This is a tough town," I said, surveying the crowd. "Can I get a grilled cheese sandwich?" "What?" said the bartender. "No, get out of my bar." So they threw me out of the bar and out into the night. Like I said, it's a tough town, full of strange characters, full of 2 types of people, really. The lawmakers and the lawbreakers. And the law obeyers, I guess. 3 types of people. And a billion other kinds, too, all swirling together in this giant radioactive neon skyline dystopian toilet of a future. Trapped in a world where freedom is a commodity that can be bought and sold, and human beings are little more than robots serving functions and fulfilling obligations. But what about real life? That most precious of commodities which can get lost in between all the other transactions. Sometimes it's like there's no real humanity left in humanity. Like we're all just information on the page of a book that's written in digital ink on a beam of sunshine. Anyway, I'm Anonymous Cubed. I'm a private eye. Sometimes I get hired to do weird jobs.